Yo, what is up YouTube? It's Sync Sports Bets here, and in today's video, I got 4 player props for the college football Saturday slate. It is week 4, and I'm stoked to show you guys some of these picks here. Let's go to our college football spreadsheet of week 3. We did hit 4 out of 4. That's a 10x hit on Prizepicks. Probably a higher amount on other apps, but nonetheless, it is a hit, and we all won money last week. If you guys tailed that bet, after bouncing back from a 0 for 4 miss in week 3. That was a correlated play, so if one player didn't hit, probably both of those quarterback, wide receiver didn't hit. So that was just a bad case there. But we did do separately all 4 of these picks here. Caleb Jackson and Lawrence Toafili were both really, really scary. Especially Lawrence Toafili. He had 30 rush yards in the first quarter, but had like 0 carries in the second half because FSU was down so much they didn't need to run the ball. Lawrence was the RB2, so obviously they gave the ball to the RB1. So we were chilling on that somehow. I was, super stoked about that. And then Caleb Jackson, he had like barely any yards the first half, but had like a huge 20-yard run in the second half and somehow ended at 28 because the RB4, so the RB3 is injured out for the season, I'm pretty sure, and the RB4 stepped in and actually outplayed Caleb Jackson and Josh Williams. Caleb Jackson is the RB2. So that was crazy to see again. Just kind of lucky on those 2 picks there, but we hit nonetheless. Seth Hennigan over 1.5 pass touchdowns was the easiest pick of the day, as well as Josh Hoover. I mean, they were both no sweats at all. I told you guys I was super confident, and you know, it hit, and is good to see. Seth Hennigan just had a field day versus Florida State. Same with Josh Hoover, but TCU's defense was so bad that even if Josh Hoover threw for 400 yards, they still lost the game at the last second. So that was crazy, but I'll take it. 10x hit. If you put down like $10, you win $100. That's huge. Hope you guys tailed. Looks like a few of you guys tailed in the comments of the last video. Anyways, let's go to our video picks here. First pick of the day is going to be a Marion Hampton over 110.5 rush yards. If you go to the last 5 on Prizepicks, last week he had 210 rushing yards as a running back. Okay, this is like quarterback stats here for passing, but rushing is insane. I don't think I've seen anyone this year or even in a while rush for over 200 yards. I know that they played a bad team, but man, that is crazy. Um, this game versus Charlotte, I actually bet on him that game. He was taken out like early, super early third quarter. They were blowing out that team. I think he was a little bit hurt, but he could have played. I think they just took him out for precaution. So he would have hit over 100 at least that game for sure, but they took him out, and yeah, so I still trust that he can hit over 110.5 versus James Madison. He should be playing the entire game. He is the star player of the offense. North Carolina's number 1 quarterback is out for the season, and their number 2 quarterback, is more of a runner than a passer, in my opinion. I haven't watched too much tape on him, but that's just what I saw when I was betting on Omarion. But Omarion is a beast. I love him. Let's go to Outlier real quick. So he has hit in the last 5 of 6 games. So like I said, that game he was pulled out. But man, he's been rolling, and I love it. They've been feeding him the ball, and they kind of have to because their passing game is so bad. They have to feed him the ball. James Madison is ranked 55. They allow 120. I don't know how accurate this is because James Madison plays such bad teams. North Carolina is probably a much newer, better team that they've ever played this season. So I do like this pick here. Take the over on a Marion Hampton over rushing yards. Okay, our next pick of the day is going to be Kyle Monongai. See where he's at. over 111.5 rush yards. And again, this is a lot of rush yards, but look how inflated these numbers are. He had actually, yeah, I guess I was wrong. I forgot that he had over 200 yards versus Akron last week. So maybe this is just a normal thing for running backs at this point, but I love this pick against Miami in December. I know that was so long ago. He had 163 yards. I feel like Miami's a pretty good team. So if you go to 2024, the last in the two games that he played, he hit this line by a huge amount. Uh, if you look at Virginia's Tech's rushing defense, they are ranked 114 at a value of 190.3. So that is super, super bad. Expect the Rutgers to run Kyle Monangai as much as possible. So I love this pick here. I know that all of these lines I'm picking today look pretty high, but all they need is that huge run or just throughout the game they continue to run the ball, getting 10 yards, at least 5 per attempt. We're chilling, man. Like college defenses are so bad that anyone can have a field day at any time super quickly. So, yeah, that's all for those picks. Let's go to our next pick of the day, which is actually not on Outlier, but I can explain some backup stats for you. It's Jackson. So instead of his rush yards, which could hit, but we're going to take the safer way of over rush and receiving for Jaquindon Jackson of Arkansas. If you go to the last 3 games, he has also crushed this line. Uh, he had 155 last week, 162, 121. These are all this season, obviously. So he is getting fed the ball a lot. Let me check what he had last week. He had 15 carries for 147 rush yards. And the first 2 weeks, he did have 2 catches for like 20 yards. So that's why I think this pick is safer than just the rushing, because he does get a little bit more than his receiving line should be. I'm assuming it's 10 or 11. So that's just adding a little extra cushion for our bet, doing the receiving as well. So I really like this pick here versus Auburn. Auburn's obviously a decent team, 2-1, but they have allowed a lot of yards to the others teams. Last week they played New Mexico, and they allowed the RB1 to have 72 yards. So New Mexico is obviously not that great compared to Arkansas. I think Arkansas is way better, but they still allowed 72 yards to their top running back and 291 yards for passing. So I do love this pick here for Jaquindon Jackson. And our last pick of the day is probably my least confident, just because lines have dropped a little bit, but I still like this pick. Caleb Johnson over 78.5 rush yards. Look at those numbers, man. I know they play Minnesota, but he's killing it. With this line that he has, he almost had 100 yards over this line last week. So I know Minnesota is way better team than these 3 teams, but Minnesota did allow 129 yards to a Marion Hampton in week 1. Caleb Jackson is a beast. Iowa's defense is super good. I think they hold them in the game where Iowa won't be blown out by Minnesota. And I really like Minnesota rush defense because they're not too great, man. They do allow a lot of yards. The other 2 games that they played were against garbage teams. You can't really read that defense from those games with those bad teams. But let's go to Outlier real quick. This is why I'm not as confident, because of their rush yards allowed ranked at 19. But looking at this season, he has hit over this line at a huge amount. They did allow Marion Hampton 129 yards. So I don't know how accurate this rushing yards allowed is for this stat as of right now. But as you guys can see, his line has gone up. So maybe it is a good pick here with the line movement. So honestly, that actually raises my confidence a lot if other people are picking it too. I do like that. I just don't like that -3 there, but it's okay. Let's pick all four of these, man. I'm pretty confident. I know these are running backs, but the running game has been getting it done. The pass yards, honestly, they either are way too high or way too low, where it's like the quarterback's either super bad and barely hits the over, or the quarterback's way good and their line's at like 300, and then they somehow hit the under. So like pass yards are a little too scary for me. Receiving yards, to me, it's looking like the quarterbacks are passing to different receivers every week, so it's kind of hard to read on that. So we're just going to go with the run game this week. I really like these matchups, and lock these picks in. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I will be doing obviously a Sunday, Saturday slate video and maybe a Monday. I haven't been doing Monday nights lately just because I've been super busy, but do expect one for sure on Sunday. I will be posting that probably Saturday nights. So look forward to that and hope you guys enjoy this video and have a good night. Peace.